excited again to see all of you guys. And today we've got David Ebbecke with us today. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Fantastic. So let me give you a quick bit of background about David, and then he's going to just fill you in more. But David is a phenomenal physiotherapist who is in Manassas, Virginia, and he owns an incredibly busy and successful sport and orthopedic practice. And David has come along this journey of integrating functional medicine. So I want David to fill in more about his professional background and just to hear it from him. He's an incredible physio, and there's something special about what David has done, which I want you guys just to stick around and hear how he started to bring other physiotherapists in his practice into functional medicine. So David, maybe let's just kick it off and just hear more about just your basic background, where you've come from, and give us a setting there, how you've come to where you are now.
Well, I appreciate the introduction. Thank you. It's good to be here. I am a physical therapist in a town southwest of Washington, D.C., pretty busy town. We've been in practice here just for about 10 years. The practice is actually very old. I purchased it from the previous owner, who was in town for many decades, actually. Very well established, deep roots, large number of clients. And we've serviced mainly orthopedic, sports medicine, injury, some neuro, and I've got 11 people on staff, and that does include administrative. But anyway, I've been doing this for 22 years and owning the business for about 10. So anyway, I guess what led me in this direction was a gradual but very palpable realization that I was not achieving the outcomes, even that I used to maybe 7, 8, 10 years ago with patients, and getting frustrated. That might sound a little selfish, me not getting satisfaction out of people getting optimal outcomes, but it boiled down to what could be happening here. So then it just really dawned on me. I mean, these people are coming sicker and sicker, more presentation of chronic disease, and it seems like it's an uphill battle, and so that really spawned my interest in functional medicine and the principles of it.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, if you think about it, your practice is the premier physical therapy practice in your community. You have set the standard, you get great results, but you know that there is this change happening in the world, really, that is not allowing patients to kind of get to those levels that you as a professional know that you can get them to, and the public are also sensing that. So what do you think has happened in the world that has kind of created this change and led us to just seeing more patients that are getting stuck and plateauing?
Well, I really think it just boils down to the proliferation, the growing nature of chronic illness in this country. I mean, I think the statistics are that 25% of the people in America have multiple chronic diseases, and that's multiple. And we saw about 900 new patients last year in this practice. So do the math, and it's only it's kind of this slow motion, insidious plague that's going on. So and through modern technology and the internet and so forth, social media. The healthcare consumer is becoming much more conscientious about their own care and advocates for themselves, realizing that the conventional paradigm is just not well suited to address their health needs. And it's really, I think, a push from the consumer itself. A great majority of my patients, why I looked into functional medicine was it was spawned from them. They were asking me about other complementary and alternative medicine directions, and a lot of I could shrug my shoulders and say, well, you can try it, but so that spawned that. So I really think it's the growing nature of chronic illness in this country. It's the burden, the complexity of it.
I mean, it's really as simple as that. I mean, there is this massive burden, and I love that statistic. I mean, 25% of the population have multiple comorbidities that have already been diagnosed as a chronic disease. We know chronic disease, the diagnosis needs to be set and reinforced for 3 months, and then it's chronic. And it's obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, fibromyalgia, arthritis, those are chronic diseases. And for our patients, I mean, those numbers of 900 patients coming through your practice, 25% of them are coming with these major comorbidities of these neuromuscular skeletal conditions that we're seeing. And we're having these aha moments like, no wonder they're not getting better. And what can we do about it? And yeah, so, I mean, it's so interesting that you perceived that already, and you perceived that your patients were kind of bringing that I need more kind of story to your practice. How long were you kind of sensing that for before looking at alternative methods like functional medicine? What kind of timeline did that occur?
Hard to pinpoint that exactly, but I would say it's been a couple of years. I've been slow to catch on, maybe, you know, kind of grounded in my manual therapy skills, my you know, everything that tied into me becoming a more specialized physical therapist. So it's probably been for the last couple of years, I would say, that this wave has been coming in and kind of just made me open my eyes. And as I said before, it's just the outcomes are not, by and large, not what I used to be getting with a lot of patients 10 years ago or so. And I don't think I'm getting any worse at what I do as a therapist, but so I sure hope not. But there had to be another answer out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, 22 years of experience, you've gone through all the continued education courses available. Your skills are getting better and better, but it's really, it's not our fault, because, and it's not the patient's fault. It's just that there's this missing piece that you're realizing, the public are realizing, and we need to do something about that to help those patients' outcomes better. I mean, what was your kind of feeling, your emotional feeling as you realize this more and more? What led you to that realization to look for something more? Was it an emotional kind of frustration, or was it just a business decision that you knew you had to move that way?
No, I would say little to no influence as a business decision. It was much more emotional. The connection I have with patients, you know, again, the longevity of this practice is again, I see patients who come back from multiple, you know, different episodes of care, different reasons they come, and their family members. And I see the frustration, you know, the frustration on them, the frustration with, I could say this carefully, with just getting past, you know, physician to physician, and maybe not getting the outcomes they would want here or other disciplines, chiropractic or what have you. So it was really born out of witnessing their frustrations, and then from there I just started exploring it a bit more. Even before I was introduced to functional medicine fast track, I started following people in the field, Chris Kresser, Mark Hyman, Kara Fitzgerald, particularly Chris Kresser. I mean, just reading his most recent book, that was absolutely a game changer for me, and said, you know, I've got to jump on this. And you know, what was so wonderful to me was the fact that I could, as a physical therapist, a licensed professional, not an MD, not, you know, be a big part of this this movement, this new paradigm. I could have a stake in it and help people, and still remain well within my regulatory, you know, my Practice Act and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how much in social media there is there between Chris Kresser, Mark Hyman, Kara Fitzgerald. I mean, they really have already been doing it for so many years and bringing that voice to everybody that we need to be aware. It's that awareness. And thank goodness for these pioneers out there that are driving it to let us know that we all need to, as healthcare professionals, bring it into our practices. So what was kind of the final, you were investigating, researching, what was kind of the final decision for you? Like, no, now I need to actually bring this into my practice.
Really, when I saw that it could become a reality, that Well, and then of course stumbling upon your program, specifically designed for physical therapists, and the idea that I would be doing it not weeks and months and maybe even a year down the road, but that I could fast track it in place, you know. And within 4 weeks, I was already helping a patient. Well, she happens to be my daughter, but so really blew my mind. I mean, you know, putting it in action, and when I did, you know, use myself and friends and family and saw the changes that quickly, I just knew it had to be adopted into my practice. You know, to set us to serve at a higher level, really, is what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I love that you got going so quickly, which is, you know, that is the whole point of the program, is let's get going now rather than 1-2 years time. The public need it. But what I want to, let's just take a step back there, because the one thing that I love about you is that you really, when you know what you want, you're going full on into it. And when we first chatted and it was a fit for what you wanted, for goals for your practice and with what we were doing, you decided to bring Katie in alongside you to learn that. What was that reasoning? Why did you feel so confident that you needed to bring more practitioners in your practice into functional medicine?
Well, I think that's because, well, there's multiple reasons, and I'll just touch upon some of those. The first and foremost is to collaborate with someone. I mean, that's what functional medicine is too, anyway, collaborative medicine. But really, I felt that we could put our heads together and not only serve our patients better, but you know, adopt it as a business model and direct this practice more effectively. I chose Katie because ever since I've been acquainted with her, as long as I've known her, she's been very conscientious about her health. She can put check marks on all the 4 pillars of health easily. She's been doing it a long time. So when I introduced it to her and she got some information and spoke with you, I mean, she was just excited as could be, and I knew that was the right decision. So really, it's about us working together. I knew it would be more effective. We could get things into place better, and I could have somebody to collaborate with. I'm also very busy. I'm a business owner too. You know, I'm a therapist and I run this business. So I've done a few things, as I'm sure many of us have, not seen it to completion or to fruition, and I was not going to take a chance on this.
So, I mean, you're fast tracking it into your practice. That's what you decided. Like, okay,
yeah,
there's demand for it. We've got patients that we need to serve at a higher level. Like, let's get started. Let's bring more practitioners in. And as a business owner, let's collaborate with your employees at the same time.
Right.
I mean, I really commend you on that, for being brave as we pioneer this together, to be able to do that. And have you had any regrets doing that?
Oh, none whatsoever. No. I eat, breathe, and sleep it. I mean, I'm so fascinated by it, and you know, again, you know, it's you go to a course, you learn a new skill, and you're very excited about it. You start utilizing it in practice. You see the influence of it. But with this skill I'll be learning for really some time to come. It's like exponentially more than that. You know, it serves so many functions. It's hard to put into words. It's no regrets whatsoever.
Absolutely. No, I can see that just by the energy that you brought into your practice. And I'd love for you to kind of just give us a feeling of what has happened in your practice and some practical examples. I know we went through many patients as we went through the program with you. How did it change your practice? What value did you add to your patients? Can you give us a couple of examples of that experience of integrating it that rapidly into your practice?
As I mentioned, my first client, if you will, my daughter, I'll start with her because that's really where it all started. Ever since she was a young child, you know, she had multiple complaints quite often, mostly gut related, but also headaches, muscle and joints pain. even from a very young age. And it was kind of now that I look back, it's like, oh, you've been a bad father, but knowing what I know now, but you don't have a fever, you don't have a runny nose, you're going to school. So, yeah, but as she's gotten older, and certainly as I've adopted this, she became my guinea pig, if you will, within about the 4th or 5th week of the program, and she's a different person now. She's, with what we found with her testing, she was highly sensitive to many foods, many substances, which she eats on a regular basis, and actually, of all the tests I've done, she had the highest level of reactivity of any person. Granted, I haven't done many, being new to the program, new to the functional medicine, but we got her on the proper diet, and really, it wasn't much more than that for her. And she's much different now. And there's been a few patients too that we've taken through that path, and they see us in a different light. Their smiles, their satisfaction. That's what it's all about. It's given us satisfaction. We've got a long road to go, though. We've got a lot of learning to do. We've got some fine tuning to do with our business model, and as I mentioned, just a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not another weekend course. We keep saying this. It's kind of a cliche that we bring in. And functional medicine, I know for myself, 10 years down the line, I'm still continually learning as well. Mm-hmm. And it's the same as physical therapy. It's something that you're going to get your degree, and then you just start, and then you're learning, and you're going to get better. And that's what we've got to get in our heads, that it isn't this weekend course that we can catch up, but we need to have our ears open to our patients that are literally saying, I need some more help. Mm-hmm. So from serving your patient at a higher level, which is what drew you towards functional medicine, do you feel that integrating functional medicine has achieved that goal?
I certainly do. It's in process now. It's in its infancy with us, but yeah, I certainly do. Again, it's so new for us, and I just think of the weeks and months and years to come. Of how many people we can help, and really how I can influence other practitioners as well. I've already made connections with a local osteopath here in town who practices functional medicine, and to have that kind of collaboration, working together, it's just, I think it's just going to be very well rounded for us.
Yeah, speaking a common language, and I mean that's what the community. There's enough people. There's not enough practitioners. And we need that collaborative work. Yeah, I mean, that is just so fundamental. David, do you want to chat to us a little bit about just how did you feel through the 12-week program? Did it meet your expectations? How did you feel? Was there overwhelm? When did that change? A lot of people have fear in just kind of starting. You've gone through it. Can you help them to just understand a little bit about the emotional and the support that you had through that period of time?
Yeah, looking back, would certainly not deny there was some fear going into it. For me, as I've shared with you, I think a lot of it dealt with, do I have the time to do this? It was logistical for me, completely logistical. It happened to come at a time when there was some transition in this practice. I needed a new clinician or two, and more like two. But so for me, it was purely logistical. The starting the program, again, the influence of some other outside sources through reading books and podcasts, and then being able to put it together week by week in a very, I have to say, I very much like the way the program was structured, hitting major systems and processes week 1, week 2, and then along the lines of that, business strategies to help, solidify it in your practice. So, overwhelmed, I mean, certainly not overwhelmed, but certainly not easy work either. You're learning principles, concepts that if you ever did hear of them, it's been a long time, and never having to this as applied knowledge. When I learned about the Krebs cycle, God knows how many years ago. It was, you know, can I pass this test? I never thought of applying it to how I'm going to, you know, how it may be impacting a client of mine, a patient of mine, and how I'm going to influence that cycle. So again, I really like the applied knowledge that it gave me.
Fantastic. David, what are your goals moving forward now? You've brought a base, you've got a great foundation, you've got Katie working alongside you. How do you see integrating functional medicine moving your business forward for the community, for your business? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, that's still on the drawing board a bit, I will say. For myself personally, I want to move in that direction 100%. I want to, for myself, I have some wonderful staff now that have just come into place to continue my physical therapy business here, and I want to really be the functional medicine specialist here, along with Katie. And utilizing the complementary nature of the two. I mean, that's really that's what it is: complementary paradigm. You know, conventional medicine and physical therapy mixed with the functional medicine paradigm, and I really want that to enable me to do some other things, both personally and professionally, free up some time for me with the family, with traveling and other things that I have, hobbies that I enjoy. So, and I think this will really enable me to do that. We have so much trading time for money. You know, it's a fast-paced in-network model that we're in right now, and frustrating for us and for, I'm sure, other listeners on this call. So I'm, you know, adamant about getting away from that model and truly helping people. Like I have the capability of doing through functional, well, the complement of my physical therapy knowledge and this new functional medicine knowledge I have. So it's been great.
Fantastic. I love that. And maybe just to elaborate what David was saying is, in functional medicine, as we integrated into a physical therapy practice, what we found in our practice from 10 years ago is we tended to start to move away from consult to consult and move towards helping these more difficult patients in programs. And by able to build a program that is very supportive of these patients, we're getting better results. And that is ultimately what we want, is a better result, a better outcome for our patients. But in the interim, what these programs do is it's freeing up a lot of our time, because there's systemization, there's automation, there's leverageability and scalability on that side. And that may sound a little bit strange, but this is exactly what David is now applying into his practice, to be able to free up time that he can spend more time with his family, because he's seeing the bigger picture of what we're doing. This is exactly what we go through in our program. So from that perspective, that you weren't expecting that when you came into functional medicine, that it could change things as far as this time for money trap and give you a little bit more freedom and serve patients at the higher level. Is that something that was kind of not expected? Is it a new paradigm?
It is a new paradigm, but through researching it prior to diving in, I did come to expect that. That was my goal, and I don't think I completely answered the previous question. I talk about myself being the functional medicine specialist here, but again, it's a collaborative model. We you know, patients know, clients know what they need to do. There's no shortage of information out there. We know we need to exercise. We know we need to lose weight and so forth. But it's really the implementation of that, you know, the support, the hand holding, you know, that's so I know there's going to have to be other practitioners in here, you know, whether it be health coaches or people like that to help implement this, and collaboration both ways with physicians. So I'm thinking of it more as a system rather than, you know, here's this physical therapist in Manassas all by himself doing functional medicine. I don't envision that at all. I want it to be much much more collaborative, and thereby much more effective, getting the results I wish for.
Love that, David. David, so just as we kind of round off now, there's a lot of people sitting on the fence out there, and they, researching functional medicine, listening to webinars, watching social media, and not sure if it's something for them to dive into and integrate with their traditional skill set. Is there any bit of advice that you can help them to move over that fence and start to actually get involved and apply it and start integrating it with their traditional skill set?
Even though you gave me the tools, your program gave me the tools, the specifics, I utilized many resources to help me get over that fence. And I've already mentioned his name, Chris Kresser, his book Unconventional Medicine. That was a game changer for me. It pointed out the current state of affairs when it comes to how bad the situation here is in this country, and only worsening, of course. So I would say to people on the fence, do a little bit of research, and what will allow you to do is it will allow you to see that you can make an impact from one end of the spectrum to the other, whether you're a physician or whether you're a personal trainer. You can make an impact, and he clearly states that in his book. But of course, it's your program that provided the tools for that, the resources and the knowledge that I could apply.
100%. You got to find what's the right fit for you. But the key is, what we want to do is just encourage people to know that functional medicine can be integrated alongside what you do. And if you're not too sure what functional medicine is, it's the first time you're listening to what we're speaking about, just research more and have a look. There's a lot of information out there. If you want to go to our website, which is www.functionalmedicinefasttrack.com or www.fm-ft.com, which is the shortened version, we've got a ton of videos there that you can go through, get more information. But there's no lack of information to help you to get your head around that it's something that you can bring in alongside what you're doing. And this is what we're so adamant about, and just so passionate that it's complementary to what you do. So David, thank you so much for your time. It's really been so awesome just listening to your journey and spending time with you over the last few months and watching your practice grow alongside with Katie. And I know there's so many more great things to come as far as helping your community and watching your practice build into something that continues to be pioneering. So,
well, thank you. I thank you for this opportunity. And I was thinking right before we started the call, I'd love to do it again with you, 6 months down the road or something, because I think I'll have just so much more accomplished with implementing this in our practice. So I'm going to keep you informed. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. I'd love that. I mean, it's all in its infancy and we're just getting started. So we want to hear more success stories and encourage more people into this amazing world of functional medicine alongside your traditional skill set. So until next time, you guys take care, have a fantastic day, and we will see you again soon. Thank you, David.
Thank you.